and Kitten Knittin. I'm Kitten, and you can find me on Twitter, Ravelry, and Instagram as @SpaceKitten3000.
And I am Gallialvia. You can find me also on Instagram, Ravelry, and Twitter @Gallialvia.
And we thank you all for coming and checking us out. If you're a return viewer, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming back to hang out with us. And if you're a new viewer, welcome, and we hope you enjoy your time spent with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
We are so glad that you decided to stick around with us.
Yes. So, what have you been? How's your knitting week been?
I have actually been going at it nonstop, it feels like.
Yeah?
Yeah. I actually have a bit of a knitting injury.
She does. You had to go to the doctor.
I did have to go to the doctor. You guys, I've been knitting so much that my back is tensed up. And I had to be put on muscle relaxers to kind of help release it. Had to go into the massage therapist. And like it was kind of a crazy pain. But
so are you going to cut down on your knitting?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Knitting is pain.
Knitting is pain.
That a thing?
Pain
I
is
don't
beauty.
know.
Pain is beauty. So how has your knitting week been?
It's been good. I only have one FO this week, though.
No?
I mean, that's better than last week when I didn't have one at all, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have one last week.
No,
or last 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do have one this week. I guess I can go ahead and show it. We'll get right into it.
Yeah.
It's the Banff cardigan by the Blue Mouse. And it's a giant, oversized, old man cardigan. So, and it just has the little ribbed sleeves. And it's pretty long. On me, it goes... The pattern was like below the knee, but I didn't want to do below the knee. I have a couple of below the knee cardigans that I didn't make that I just bought. So I didn't really want another one. I wanted one that's more mid-thigh.
Sure. So
that's what I did. And it was semi-successful, I would say. I like it, but I think it's going to be an around the house cardigan.
why is that?
Because I'm bad at seaming, you guys. I'm so bad at seaming. That's not the only reason. I mean, it is oversized. Like, it is very large. And they even state in the pattern, they're like, this is real deal oversized.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a fitted sweater, this is not it. I think it's even more oversized than I anticipated. But the whole thing is seamed. Like, you do nothing in the round. You don't even do the sleeves in the round.
Oh, wow.
You knit them flat, and then you seam them to the back piece and the front piece, and then you seam up the sleeve.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Everything was seamed, which is okay if you're good at seaming, but I learned that I am not so great at seaming.
Why do you think you're not so good at seaming?
Oh, I think I just don't have the practice. I haven't done it enough, I don't think. And
what is it about it that you don't like?
I just think that you can just like
See the seaming.
this is my shoulder seam. I just don't like the way it looks. And okay, this cardigan, like, the shoulder seam is actually not at your shoulder. It's actually, like, here because it's oversized.
Sure.
And so you're attaching the sleeve, like, at this point. So I feel it's a lot more noticeable than if it were actually on your shoulder.
Gotcha.
Because it's right in the middle of your arm.
Sure.
So I just wish it was a bit cleaner. And, like, this is my... like, top of the shoulder seam, connecting the back piece to the front. And it's all right. It's okay, but again, it's like on the top, so I don't feel that it's that noticeable.
Yes.
I think really the only seam that really bugs me is this shoulder seam.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's really, really noticeable.
I can see that, actually.
So...
yeah.
And I actually did it 2 different ways because I wasn't happy with the way the first one came out. So I looked up some videos to see a better way of, because it just calls for a mattress stitch, which I've done before, and I've done it successfully, but I've only ever done it on like ribbing, and you literally could not see the seam that I did. I did it on some mitts. But this is seed stitch, and it's different. Yeah. And so I was struggling a bit with it. And so I looked up some videos and found maybe some tips. And so they're actually, the shoulders are seamed differently. And I don't like either one. Oh. You can kind of, I don't know if you can tell see the difference.
Yeah, you can see the difference a little bit.
So there's kind of like a bar that goes through on this one where there's not on this one.
Sure.
But since I decided it was just going to be like a cozy round the house cardigan, I wasn't really worried about taking one of them out and like making it match.
No.
Because honestly,
just get you some practice.
This is so cozy. It's really, really comfortable. It's really squishy. It is really warm. I've worn it around the house, just, you know, lounging on the couch while I'm knitting or watching TV. And I do like it because I like to wear big sweaters, in the house anyway, because I'm kind of cold natured. So I usually have a sweatshirt or a sweater on anyway. So, it's great for that. And I really do like it because it is quite comfy and cozy. Yeah. But I just learned that I need to just have some more, practice at seaming or try to knit everything in the round.
There you go.
So, but yeah, and I actually thought maybe I was going to put buttons on it, and I like had this grand plan of like making buttons out of clay. I bought the clay, and I like was going to make these buttons to put on it, even though it doesn't have buttonholes. I was like, it's just for show. But, I'm not going to go through all of that if it's just going to be a cozy around the house one.
Sure.
So, yeah. But if you want a cozy sweater that's just, you know, very oversized, I mean, it is really oversized. This is a great one because it's an easy pattern, and if you don't mind seaming, then...
Yeah, absolutely. So do you guys have any tips or tricks for seaming that you've discovered along the way?
Yeah.
You know, comment on our Ravelry page. I'll put an episode link actually on our Ravelry page, so you guys can comment below if you have any thoughts, any tips or tricks.
Or is it just kind of a practice makes perfect type thing? I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've done it before and it was successful, and I was like, dang, I'm good at seaming. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm not good at seaming at all. I'm not good at seaming. And that's all this is. So, but yeah, I do like it, and I will definitely get some use out of it. Yeah. So, but that's my only FO this time. So, do you have any FOs?
I do. I've got a couple of FOs this week. So again, knitting injury. I've been knitting a lot. But I've had fun doing it, so, you know, it's okay. I knitted up this Butter Mellow hat by Jaymie Moore of the Strings and More podcast. I absolutely love it. You know, from the last episode, as you saw, I knitted a skein of mohair along with a skein of just worsted weight.
It worked out really, really good.
So I don't know if you can see the halo on here, and I haven't blocked it yet, so it's not blocked yet. But it's turned out just absolutely gorgeous, and it's super warm. I love it. As you can see, it's got some eyelets in it and some faux cabling on it. So it's just, I love it. You know, it's a great hat, and if you guys are interested in it, say it's by Jaymie Moore on Ravelry, and it's the Butter Mellow hat. I highly recommend it because it's just a fun little slouchy hat.
Yeah, I still plan on making one. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, so highly recommend this hat for those of you that like knitting hats.
I know I wasn't going to do the mohair thing because sometimes I don't really like fuzzy all that much, but now that I see yours in person, I'm like, ooh, that turned out so good. So I might have to get some mohair to do.
I'm really pleased with the way this knit up. And
I like it a lot, yeah.
I saw Lamb Strings did it with her Butter Mellow hat, and I just love the idea. So, and I had some mohair, so there we went. Yep. The other thing that I did was you guys know I was working on the no purl sweater, and I decided when I ran out of yarn to use a different yarn for the sleeves just to kind of even up the striping on this guy. So here's the way it turned out. It's ugly. It is so ugly, you guys. This is going to be a frog project. I'm going to frog this, and
did you decide you're gonna reuse the yarn?
I'm just gonna reuse the yarn for something else. I don't know what yet, but I know better. I know I've got a body type that needs certain shaping, and this is a shapeless garment. It's just a box, and it does not look good on my figure at all. So I need to learn that the things that look good on Kitten do not look good on me. And because she made this sweater too, and it looks so cute on her, but it is not something that flatters my figure at all. So this is definitely going to be a frog project. Oh well, you know, live some, learn some, and I got some practice gartering. But there again, seaming, you guys, I was not a big fan of the way this seamed up either. And
well, yeah, and I forgot about that. When I did mine, I was happy with the seaming on my no pearl sweater when I did it. I was like, oh yeah, this looks pretty good. So yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's not too bad, and I think part of it just has to do with the fact that the yarn that I used, it looks different on the front than on the back, and so you can actually really see where that seam is on there. Oh, yeah.
So I think it was just poor choice in yarn, poor choice in pattern for me. Live some, learn some, and frog it. Go on about the road. At least I get to, reuse the yarn.
Yeah.
So that was my frog project, and it's done, but it's not a keeper. Not a keeper at all. So that's
a bummer. I hate that. It's so discouraging when you've spent so much time on something and then because I was slightly disappointed in the cardigan I finished, but again, I'll wear it. Yeah. It's just not what I won't wear it like I intended to wear it.
Sure.
But, I've had projects where I was like, all this time and,
Yeah.
But again, it's like the armored cowl that we talked about a few episodes back where it didn't work out for me. And I was so mad. Yeah. And then I felt like I was a terrible knitter. I felt like, oh, I suck. I can't knit anything just because this one project didn't
pan out.
And it was literally, it just was not for my body.
Yeah.
It didn't work out it wasn't my style.
Yeah.
And it also just wasn't right for my body type. And I like the oversized look of stuff, but maybe that is not what
is flattering.
What is flattering for me?
I don't know. I think you could pull off some.
Because I want to make the boxy.
By Hohi Locatelli?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the pattern for the fingering and the worsted, and it's, from what I understand, very, very boxy. Mm-hmm. But I think it would look okay on me.
I think it would look really good on you.
But it has tight sleeves still.
Yeah.
And so, and see, this cardigan is all oversized.
Yeah.
So maybe that, just with that, more fitted shape on the arms, the boxy body wouldn't be so bad.
Well, a good way for you to take a look at that, because the tea leaf sweater, the tea leaf cardigan that I made is the same way, where it's oversized in the body, very loose, and it's got the fitted sleeves. You might try that on and see what you feel about that drape.
That's a good idea.
I'm almost wondering if the drape of the smaller yarn, the fingering or DK, would look better than the worsted on you.
It would have more drape,
It would have more drape, and I think that would look very good on you.
Yeah. I am going to make it at some point, but I kind of have some plans on the boxy, but I haven't ironed it all out, so
sure.
I'll talk about that at another point, maybe when I start it. I don't know.
There we go. So what are your works in progress right now?
I have a couple of things. I've made some pretty good progress on the Pucks Tunic by Susanna IC. I talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I had about that much. But I've made some good progress on it.
That's so pretty.
So yeah, it's knitting up pretty well. I've had fun doing it too. that's probably a quarter of the length it's supposed to be, and you have to make 2 of these.
Yeah.
But it goes really, really quick.
Oh, that's
good. It
good.
really does go very quickly.
That's good.
So yeah, I've had fun doing this. This is the one where the lace is in a charted form, and we had talked about whether or not to blow up the chart, and I did that, and it made a huge difference.
Oh, good.
I can't believe that didn't occur to me, because the one I was using was like this big with like the little key at the side. But yeah, I blew it up to basically just almost a half size piece of paper. Oh, so much easier.
Oh, good.
But yeah, it's really fun, and I really like it, and I really, really want to block it because this yarn feels kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I really want to soak it and block it and see how it softens up. So I think once I'm done with this first half, I'm going to go ahead and block it so I can see what it does. Yeah.
Are you supposed to seam it together?
I always block before I seam.
You block before you seam?
I don't know if that's the way you're supposed to do it.
I don't know.
That's the way I've always done it, because because normally it'll have measurements for each piece.
Right.
So I block it to those measurements. And then everything's nice and straight and even and what it's supposed to be, and then I seam it together.
That makes sense. The one thing that I've had to really block was that tea leaf cardigan, and it was all done in the round, so...
So yeah, I've always blocked before seaming. But yeah, let us know if that's the typical way, or if you guys block once it's done or what. But I'm so eager to see how it is once it's blocked. So
that's coming out really pretty. I like it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's fun. So I'm hoping, since it goes so fast, if I really just sit down and knit, I think I can maybe have it done by next time. I'm probably jinxing myself by saying that.
Yeah.
I'm going to disappoint all of you guys by not having it done. I probably won't have any FOs next time now that I've said that. And then the other thing I just started like 2 days ago. And it's the Two Sweets shawl by Delicious Yarns. And you can't really tell at this point what it's going to look like. But basically, it's a garter section, a very large garter section where you do all your increases. And then a lace section, and then a garter section increase. And I forgot my pattern, or I would show you a little picture, but we can probably put a picture in. So I'm almost done with the first garter section. And then I can start on the lace, which is what I really like to do. But I'm doing it in the Celestial Bunny Fibers Spring Fairy colorway, this super ultra girly unicorn sherbet fairy.
So I was
beautiful.
totally shocked when she posted a picture of this on Instagram, and it is so girly, and she said that she would probably save that colorway for her socks at some point, and she decided to do a shawl with it.
Yeah,
so
well, I really
wanted
to do this shawl, and I tried it with 2 other yarns, and I didn't like the way it was coming out.
It was striping.
One was oh no, wait. I think I only tried it with the one yarn, and it was striping, and I didn't like that. And then I thought about doing it with one of the dyed yarns that we did, the one that was like the super, super colorful one, and I was like, I won't ever wear a shawl with like every color in it. And I was like, I'm just going to try this one because it's so pretty and I really like it. And I was going to just do socks with it. And then I started knitting with it, and I really liked the way the colors were coming out. And it's not stripy, and it's so cute, and definitely a spring or summer shawl. But, I feel like I could just jeans and a t-shirt and then like wrap it around.
Yeah, that'd be great
for spring.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the only 2 things that I'm currently working on, but I'm having a lot of fun with both of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yay.
So you are working on some really cool stuff.
I'm really just one project right now. I'm still working on the long weekend cardigan, and I think there was one other project. Oh, the knit night shawl. But I haven't actually touched those the last couple of weeks because I, like so many others before me, have started on the What the Fade shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I just love the way this is coming out. I don't know how this
It's
is translating.
So pretty. So this is wrong side.
This is wrong side.
Yeah. And they're both equally pretty. That's
this
right
is
side.
the right side.
It's so funny how green the other side is, and then how like
colorful. Yeah, and this is actually, you can't really tell right now, but this is actually 3 different colors of green.
Wow.
And then these, my first 3 colors of the fade, were obviously more different because I got some pink, some purple, and some blue, and then I've got 3 different fun shades of green, basically. So we'll see how it all ends up turning out in the garter section, if it actually shows a fade, or if I didn't get quite a different enough yarn. But
so it's brioche, and then there's non-brioche sections?
So there's brioche for 3 sections. I actually started the 3rd section this morning after this fade. So there's 3 brioche sections, and then the rest of it is all going to be garter after this last. So
okay. So this is all the brioche once you get done with the next.
This is all
section.
the brioche,
okay.
And then from there on, it's going to be garter.
Okay.
And you guys, I know that I think it was the first episode, the one right after New Year's, that we were talking about the things that we wanted to learn. So I'm kind of jumping ship a little bit here and segueing into Kitten's Corner a bit early, but brioche was on my list of things to learn, and this pattern is awesome for learning how to brioche.
Are you loving brioche?
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. It is so easy. It was a little bit difficult to get it started because when you started it, you're just dealing with one color. And it was confusing me a little bit because I didn't understand brioche truly at that point. But once I got it, I think I had to rip it out about 5 or 6 times before I finally got it going. But once I got it going, it was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. I really enjoy this. But Andrea Mowry, has tutorial videos for the What the Fade shawl.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
She has tutorial
Nice.
videos for this. So it actually really breaks down what you're supposed to be doing. And she shows you both in English style and continental style.
Nice.
So you can tell the difference with your style of knitting, what you need to be doing. So I actually sat there and watched those videos, and they really helped me out. So again, great place to start if you're learning how to brioche. And this is so addictive. I mean, obviously.
Are you gonna brioche everything?
Brioche all the things. I am so addicted to this right now, and I don't know if it's just been a great cosmic storm of everything coming together, the pattern being right for me, the colors being right for me, the needles being right for me. I started off with the Knit Picks, just their fixed circular needles because it's what I had on hand. That actually calls for a size 3, and I didn't have any size 3 needles, surprisingly. So I gauged it on a size 2, and it actually worked out to be my right gauge. So I started on the Knit Picks needles, and I didn't like the joint on them. It was way too catchy. And with this particular yarn, this is the Hatbox. All of these colors are Hatbox by Mrs. Crosby. Loves to play in her Hatbox. It's 75% merino, 15% silk, and 10% cashmere. But it was really catching on those wooden needles. So I happen to remember I also subscribed to the Knit Crate, and here a few months ago they sent some ChiaoGoo needles, and it was also a size 2 with a 32-inch cable. And so I started on that. It's the red lace. And I loved how pointy these were. It works great into the fibers, and it just moves so smoothly. There's enough friction still on it that it's not coming off too readily with the fibers, but it just, again, perfect storm of everything just coming together. It's just been such a joy to knit with the needles. I ended up getting a 40-inch cable because it was getting so big that I went out and bought some 40-inch cables. And yeah.
Now, is it a triangle shaped shawl?
It is a triangle shaped shawl.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it is a triangle. So it's basically a top down. So this is your top with an I-cord edging.
Okay.
and it'll just go from here. Now I did kind of have a little screw up. I don't know if you can see right through here. You do an increase through your middle, and I got off on my increase by 1, and I realized way on down the road, and this is when I was still kind of feeling my way through the brioche, and I didn't feel comfortable enough ripping it back and being able to read my stitches to pick them up right. So I just, the next increase, decided to do it the other side of center, so it kind of evened it out, and then from there on I just did it centered, but really paid attention to it. So it's not perfect. I am one of those that I don't expect my work to be perfect, and I don't kick myself when it's not perfect, because I do tend to be a perfectionist in my life. So I really try to just let things lie. And in this case, because I wasn't comfortable enough going back in my work to fix it, I'm okay with it. You know, I came up with a corrective. It tells a story to me when there's a mistake.
Right.
It just tells a story of, you know, you learned at this point and we're just going to move forward.
Well, and I try to, because I'm the same way. I'm a perfectionist, and I've tried to not take that into knitting, especially at this stage where I want to learn so many new techniques that I'm going to mess up.
Yeah.
One thing that helps me is I think about how I'm going to wear the thing that I'm knitting and whether or not that mistake is even going to be noticeable while I'm wearing it.
Sure.
So like for me, if I were knitting this, I would just wrap it around me. I wouldn't wear it like over my shoulder like a shawl. I would just end up like, you know, and you wouldn't even be able to tell. And I'm like, if you can't tell, then don't certainly don't worry about it if you're not even going to be able to tell once you're wearing it.
And really and truly, I think the only people that would really notice it are those of you that knit out there. You guys would see it and go, oh yeah, there's a problem in this pattern.
Or
but
the people that brioche. Because I wouldn't be able to, I don't know brioche. I haven't done it yet, and I wouldn't have known unless you had pointed it out.
So, but yeah,
and everybody always says how squishy brioche is, and it's no joke.
Hey.
Like, I've never felt any brioche before. It's like a little pillow.
It is like a little
pillow. You could just lay on. It's so nice.
Yeah, once I got enough of the section done, I started texting Kitten, and I was like, oh, it's so squishy.
Yeah,
it is squishy.
I was like, I can't wait to feel it.
So yeah, it is just wonderful. But it's been a joy working on this project. So
and I'm excited because she did it first, so when I do mine, she can she can help me on all of my
been the
hang-ups.
guinea pig.
Yep. You watched all the videos, and when I have trouble, I can just be like, what do I do with this? Help me.
Except she knits English and I knit continental.
That is true.
So
that's true.
It kind of throws me, because I actually learned English, and the first project that I ever did was in English. But I think it was the next project that I went to, I actually switched over to continental. I watched, again, craftsy videos. And I immediately switched because I thought, to me, it looked like it was faster, because I was just having such a hard time, not hard time, but it was really slowing me down to throw. So yeah, so we have two different ways of knitting, and I don't know that I could teach her, because it is not second nature to me just to English. But anyway, so that's what I've been working on. And if you are thinking about brioching, I highly recommend starting on this. If you don't mind a big shawl, because it is going to be a giant shawl.
Are you going to put tassels on it?
I am going to put tassels on it. It calls for tassels, and I think the tassels look adorable on it.
Yeah, so I remembered tassels in the picture, because she has a couple of different fade shawls.
Yeah, she has the Find Your Fade and the What the Fade, I think.
And one of them has tassels and one of them doesn't, which you can, put tassels on anything you want. Right. But I thought that was the one that had tassels on it.
Yeah, this one is triangular, and the Find Your Fade is asymmetrical. Yeah. So I don't think the tassels would work as well on that one as it does on just a triangle. But yeah, no, it's great. So it's been fun working on that. So yeah, so that's been my major work in progress, and why I haven't done anything else, because I finished up that hat, and then I was working on this, and obviously I've gotten quite a bit done on it.
Oh yeah.
In 2 weeks, but any time that hasn't been spent working or recouping has been spent knitting. So So yeah, I've really enjoyed doing that. So what do you have queued up?
I only have one thing queued up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to do the, I think it's called the, I have to look at my notes. It's the 3-color cashmere cowl by, Hohi, is it Hohi?
Hohi Locatelli?
Yeah, Locatelli.
Nice.
And I actually already have the yarn that I bought, around Christmas with some gift certificate money. And I intended to make a different cowl, but then I had this one in my favorites when I was just looking through my favorites, and I was like, oh, I already have the yarn for that I was going to use for this other thing, but I want to use for this. Nice. So I had the right amount. You need 3 colors. I already had the 3 colors. I didn't bring it with me, but I'm going to do a like a pea green, a dark gray, and then like a dove gray.
Oh, that'll be really pretty.
So I needed a size 2.5 needle, which I didn't currently have, so I ordered one. So that's why I haven't started it yet, because I think it was delivered today though. So I should be able to start that. But that's really the only thing I have queued up so far. I mean, I always have things that I want to knit. I mean, I'm constantly looking at Ravelry and stuff like that. But I try to be like, okay, I'm really going to do this one. It's not just, I want to start this sometime, But I think since I went ahead and purchased the needles and I already have the yarn for this, that I'll go ahead
It's truly queued up.
Yeah, that I'll start on it. Yeah. So do you have anything queued?
I do. I've got a couple things queued. So I talked about it last time. I really have to do the Cable It Honey hat for Gwynny. So I've got to probably cast that on today. Because I've been so bad lately. So I got through the Christmas knitting for everybody, and then I just decided, okay, I'm going to be a selfish knitter, just for now, because I really am just enjoying knitting for myself. I do enjoy knitting for others, but not when it's a constant like it was there at Christmas. I've got to figure out how to better space that out throughout the year. So I kind of burned myself out on knitting for other people right now. Yeah. But I do have a couple things in the pipe for other people that I just really need to sit down and do. And I want to do it for those people because I totally feel they're knit worthy. But I have the Cable and Honey hat by Taiga Hilliard Designs that I talked about last time. So I'm going to cast that on today and get that done here before the next podcast and get that sent off. So do that. And then I also, my other sister-in-law, her mother messaged me and asked me if I would make some mittens for her. And I just absolutely love her. So of course I said yes. And the only caveat, well, I'm not going to say the only caveat. I did ask her again what her favorite color is, because if I'm going to knit something for somebody, I want it to be something that they enjoy. So I asked her what her favorite color is, and it's blue. So now I need to come up with a decent mitten design for a blue set of mittens. So I'm kind of leaning... Does
she want fingerless or like actual mittens?
Is what she asked for. I probably should clarify, but I'm assuming since she said mittens, she's wanting some mittens.
What about those mittens that match the hat? The Knititude hat that you did?
Oh.
I forget what they're called.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So
those are cute.
I will show that. Show those mittens somewhere around here. But they're
in show notes.
And in show notes, yeah. So we'll give you the information for those because I think they're like moon something.
I don't remember what they're called, and they're not by Knititude.
No,
I
they're
don't
not.
think, but they go with a hat that she has already made.
Yeah, I made several of those for my in-laws.
But it's the same kind of pattern, but it's a little mitt.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. I love that idea. So, yeah, we'll do those.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Fun. Great idea. Sometimes I'm helpful.
She's always helpful. So we'll get that done. Thank you for the idea for that. So that is in my queue, and I've got some things that I want to do, but I really need to focus on getting some of these things knit for others that I promised I would do, because again, these are knit. I don't promise if I don't feel they're well, that's not even what I'm going to say. It's not even what I'm going to say.
If they're not worthy.
If they're not knit-worthy people, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm such a selfish knitter that I really want to have to do it for somebody to stop what I'm doing for myself and knit for other people. And I know there are some of you out there that are so good about knitting for other people. And I'm sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. Excuse me. And I think it's amazing what you do for those around you. And to, I know there's somebody that we watch that I really like, Yarder Woman.
And she does like charity knitting.
She does charity knitting.
She does a lot of gift knitting.
Yeah. And
which is awesome, but
beautiful.
Maybe once, I don't know. I just don't feel like that I want to like spend all the time. I mean, I do want to knit stuff for people, but it's not just the time spent. I feel like I'm not confident enough in my abilities to like feel like it's like worthy enough for a gift or something. You know what I mean? Like, it would have to be something I was pretty confident in to be like, this is your gift.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, and it's one thing to say, oh, I don't mind leaving flaws in my projects when I know they're just for me. But if there's a flaw in my project and I'm gifting it to somebody else, that's a little bit more difficult to
It's a little more stressful, I feel, when you're knitting a gift for somebody, because you want it to be nice. And like you said, you want it to be as perfect as it can be.
Absolutely.
So it is a little more stressful.
Intimidating.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, so that's in the queue. That's coming down the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So I already talked about Kitten's Corner, brioche. Do you have anything for you? You do have something for Kitten's Corner.
I'm so excited. So it might have been our second episode. I talked about needing a large project bag. And I did find some that I liked on Etsy, but I hadn't purchased one. And we had talked about getting together for a sewing day. Neither of us are seamstresses by any means.
No.
I do own a sewing machine, but have not done anything with it really.
Mine is still in the box.
But I bought fabric and I decided to take the plunge and just try it, and I made a large project bag.
You guys, is this not just adorable? She did such a good job with this.
I actually just did this yesterday. I finished it last night, and it's a little Halloween print. I mean, it's an everyday print for me, but I guess it's Halloween.
It's a little spooky print.
But I love the cat with like the little, I think it's a spell book. I guess it could be any book, but in my mind that cat is casting spells. And it belongs to this little witchy cutie right here. And then you got the little skull guy with the top hat. He's pretty cute. And there's a owl somewhere. Oh yeah, there's like a little owl right here with some bats.
Nice.
So, yeah. And I have this little skull charm I made for a zipper pull. And then it's just lined with some like gray and black like floral print. Yeah, it was really fun, and it was way easier than I thought it would be. I thought a zipper was going to be, like, so hard. It's not hard, guys.
No.
Like, it's not hard.
That's good.
And then
she gets to teach me how to do all of this.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad because we were going to make all these bags, like, together with her mother-in-law one day next month, and we have it planned. And I went ahead and ordered all the fabric, well, not all the fabric, but some fabric that I liked. And then I started that shawl, and I was like, I don't have a bag for it, because I don't have a lot of project bags. And I was either going to have to take something out that I was working on and use that bag, which I didn't like that idea. And I was like, I'm just going to try to make one. And I felt kind of bad, but then I was like, well, I can just show them how. Like, we'll have somebody that's like kind of, you know.
Knows how to do it.
Yeah. And I will, I just watched a YouTube tutorial, so I will link that in show notes of the tutorial I used. But the tutorial was actually for this little zipper pouch, which I also made. And with these little doggies on it. So cute.
Little dodges.
And then the lining is just like little paw
Paw
prints,
prints.
which is super cute. And so the tutorial, so I made this one first and used the tutorial. And then I kind of did I used that tutorial for this and then just used another one on how to make it boxy.
Nice.
So so it's flat.
So you kind of took 2 tutorials and made them into one.
Yeah. And
she makes it seem so simple, and I'm just
really
like...
is. You're going to be surprised when we sit down to do it, how easy it was. I was
find
surprised.
sewing intimidating.
I did too. But I just kind of got it in me to where I really wanted to try it.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to do it, and because I have a sewing machine, and the only thing I ever sewed was just, some pillows for my couch or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the tutorial probably 2 or 3 times and just felt like I had the steps
Down.
pretty clear in my mind.
Sure.
And then I also just set my phone up while I was working and would pause it and go step by step. But yeah, you'll be surprised on how easy it was to do it. Now, the only thing was I intended for this to be taller. I wanted it to be 10 inches tall and 14 inches wide, which it is 14 inches wide at the top, but it's only, I think, 8 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I didn't take into account that when you box the bottom, it cuts
some of
the
that
length to use for the bottom. So I have to remember that for next time, is that, I need to add X amount of inches that I'm taking off to make the bottom. But it's still pretty good. I mean, it's still pretty big in there.
Yeah.
So
you did a great job.
Thank you. So yeah, that was fun. That was what I learned to do. I guess it's not directly knitted related, but I'm using it for knitting. So
yeah. Absolutely.
So that was fun. So I was really excited by that.
So on that note, she actually made another little pouch here. Is that not so cute, you guys? So she gifted this to me before the podcast started, and as you guys know, I want all of the little zipper pouch bags for all of my project bags, which I don't have enough project bags either. So we're gonna work on that again next month. We've got a sewing day planned. So, but you guys, she did such a great job on this, and
Thank you.
I just absolutely
So this
love
is the lining that I used in my big one, is this gray floral. Yeah.
But yeah, how cute is that? I just love it. So that's acquisition number 1 for me. Then from there, I obviously bought the yarn for the fade, and I talked about that a little bit earlier whenever I did the fade. So, or talked about the fade. So I actually bought 6 colors that's called for in the fade, and I got all 6 colors were the Hatbox Base by Mrs. Crosby Loves to Play, and I got let's see if I can remember all of them, you guys.
Some of them are up
Icebox,
here.
Yep, Icebox Watermelon. Then it goes to Beauregard, then to Nolan, then to Toucan. Nope, then to Peacock, then to Toucan, and then to Hosta. So, I did it. You guys, I did it.
I know, that's pretty good. That's a lot of colors to remember.
But I just, I bought her steamer trunk for the hat, and I just loved the way her colors work together. And then I found this base too at my local yarn store, and I'm just in love with her bases. I think they're just beautiful. So, or the yarn itself is beautiful, but then her dye on top of it just is amazing. So it's been a joy to work with. So that's my acquisition for those. I also got this Modern Cotton DK by Barocco. I don't remember the colorway. Oh, in Lippet is what it's called. So it is 60% Pima cotton and 40% rayon. I actually have a project kind of queued up that I didn't talk about. But I bought the yarn for it, and it's more of a springy, after we talked last podcast about trying to focus a little bit on the next season. I went ahead and bought some yarn for a project that I'm wanting to work on. And I'll probably talk about that maybe a little bit more on the next podcast, just because, again, I want to get some of those things knit for other people done first, because I really think that needs to happen.
I want to feel
Moonstone
all this stuff.
mitts. Moonstone mitts? I think it's Moonstone mitts.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but
Call back.
call back. So we've got this, and then let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So again, I fell in love with those ChiaoGoo needles that I was working with on the What the Fade shawl. And so I went out and bought the small set of needles. So it goes from 2.75 millimeters through 5 millimeters. So US size 2 through 8. And it comes with your red lace cables. These cables are great because they have no real memory to them. So they aren't like the plastic cables that kind of get a little kinky sometimes, a little too...
They're a little stiff. So you kind of have to wrangle them a little bit when you're knitting them.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's kind of nice because it comes with like a needle gauge.
Oh, it came with like all the little...
And it also comes with your connectors as well. So if you want to make larger cable sizes, you can make larger cable sizes.
Oh, so you can connect the cables?
You can connect the cables.
Nice.
Also the nice thing about these is they have a place for you to secure a, what are those called? You can thread a piece of string through it, your safety line.
Oh, okay.
Your safety line.
I see. Yeah.
I'm having difficulty finding my words. I'm so sorry, guys.
Words are hard,
Words
guys.
are hard. I have difficulty with them. So we actually have a thing. So I always have difficulty finding words. And my husband, it drives him nuts because I will just stop in the middle of what I'm saying while I'm searching for a word. And he's just finally trained me to say, come up with a different word. Something. Anything that kind of...
To fill that space?
He doesn't like it when I just stop in the middle of a sentence. So I will come up with not random words. I mean, they're always something tangential along the lines of what I'm trying to say. But it's kind of like overlapped into work too. And so I'll go to work and I'll just say these things and people aren't really, they don't realize that I'm trying to come up with different words for what I'm trying to say. And so they just give me these really weird looks and I'm just like, no, you guys, I've been trained to say something, anything.
There's a thing I'm doing.
So I do have trouble with my words. I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so that's my acquisitions. Do you have any?
Yeah, I actually have an acquisition that you have too, and you forgot. I dropped the thing, so I have to get it. Okay. So, we went to a little event at a local yarn store last weekend, and we both bought one of these. And it's a wrist ruler by I Love Handles. It comes in this really cute tin. I actually had mine on. And you could get them in different lengths. I got the 15, but it's an actual, you're not going to be able to see it, but it's leather, and they came in black, brown, and I think a light brown.
A tan, yeah.
And it's an actual ruler. So this one goes to 15 inches. Like I said, you might be able to see a
little bit.
Yeah. But you just wrap it around.
So you have a handy little...
And it also looks like you have a really cool leather bracelet on, which is, I like.
Double bonus.
Yeah. So then, you just have this little wrap leather bracelet. So we thought these were really cool. We each got one in black.
Yeah.
I've only worn it for a bracelet so far. I've actually not taken it off my wrist to measure anything, but I've worn it to work and stuff like that. And I just think it looks kind of cool.
Awesome.
So, and useful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's again, wrist ruler by I Love Handles. And then the only other thing I got, again, it was when we went to the local yarn store event last weekend. I got the Mrs. Crosby Loves to Play and the Hatbox, what is it? Hatbox.
It's Hatbox.
Okay. In the color Squid Ink. And I got 2 of them because I thought they were fingering weight, but they're sport weight. And I know that doesn't really make a difference because it's really pretty close. But I got 2 of them, but I want to go back and get a third so I can make like a top or something like that. But it's this really pretty just tonal gray with some subtle bluey pinks. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's so pretty. And I just love it. And what I'm thinking, don't hold me to this, but what I'm thinking is doing the worsted boxy out of this, that's sport weight, and doing everything the same as what the worsted one calls for, but it will be a little less boxy.
Yeah. A little
the
smaller.
only thing that I'm worried about is the arms getting too tight.
You might have to actually do a gauge swatch and then adjust your arms
for that. But I think the body would be fine because from what I understand, the boxy is pretty dang boxy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would be an issue replacing the worsted with sport. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. But regardless, I want to get at least another one because that will give me almost 1,000 yards if I get another one. Yeah. So those are the two things that I got this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's something we hadn't really planned upon talking about, but we did go to the, we've got about 4 local yarn stores. And when I say local, they're within like an hour's driving distance from one of us.
Right.
Because we live about 45 minutes apart. So we went to one of our local yarn stores, is selling earth yarns. Which I talked about in the previous podcast. It's what is in the sleeves of my no purl sweater. So they decided to do kind of a release party for this yarn at their store. And so we went there and had a great opportunity to meet some of the local knit folk, which was...
And it was my first time at that store because it's about 50 minutes away from where I live. So it's not one that I ever drove to.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Oh, it's such a great store.
If you're ever in Guthrie, Oklahoma, it's called Sealed with a Kiss, or SWAC, I guess they call it. But it's a wonderful store.
Yeah, it's just an amazing store. So check it out if you're ever in the area. But yeah, so they had an event for that, and we were there for several hours, just mingling. They had some food. They
had some
wine.
And
got
some
our
yarn.
Wine on. Yep, we all got our yarn on. Did I buy anything? I don't think
You just bought... I think the only
ruler.
thing you bought was this, but like a couple days beforehand is when she bought her stuff for the fade. So she had already gone. She had been to the store a couple times previously.
This store is still probably 25 minutes away from me. And I just went hog wild one day and bought all the yarn. And so I decided whenever we went to this event, I wasn't going to buy as much. But I ended up going back a couple of days later and buying some Likey needles, which I didn't talk about, but I did buy some size 3 Likey needles so I would have some size 3 needles. And I bought some double pointed needles, some shorter double pointeds for that Butter Mellow hat, which I ended up only needing for the last row.
Oh, bummer.
So, but I have some...
At least you have them for
some
whatever,
5-inch size 7s. So I did get a couple of extra needles there. I did forget to mention those, but yeah,
they're needles. Yeah.
So, we had a lot of fun at that event.
It was fun.
And they are going to have their anniversary event next month, so March. And we're talking about trying to go to see that or go to that. But we've got a couple of things in the works, so we'll just see if we get to go to that or not.
Yeah, but it's a lovely store and we had a lot of fun. And that's where I got, like I said, that's where I got this. And then the Squid ink yarn was from that store. And I think it's good. It's not, that
so
store
close.
is not close to me. Because I do have a store where I live and about 5 minutes away from me, 10 minutes away from me. And it's fine, and I shop there, but it is nowhere near the SWAC, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
That I could have gone crazy in that store.
Oh, easily.
It's so lovely.
I did go crazy in that store.
It
My
would
husband
be
knows
easy
I went
to.
crazy in that store. So,
It's easy to
I
do.
bought all the yarn. Bought all the yarn in that store. But yeah, they've got a good selection, and it's well lit, and they've got good selection in terms of yarn, good selection in terms of needles, good selection. I mean, it's just...
And their staff is really nice and really helpful, too.
Yeah, very knowledgeable. And they're one of those places where if you buy your supplies from them, they're happy to sit down and help you learn what it is that you're knitting. So that's really nice, too. And I totally understand, they want you to support them and they're happy to support you in return. Totally get that aspect of that. So yeah. But I'm probably going to go up there actually this Thursday. They've got a couple of knit days where you can go and knit, and so I think I'm going to go.
You can bring whatever you're working on, and there's other people there that might be able to help if you're stuck on something.
And just sit and knit and be social, and yeah, I think I'm going to have a knit day. So
nice. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So real quick, we've got a new giveaway for you guys, which I meant to mention earlier in the podcast, and it didn't happen. So Judith Price Artworks gifted us some more stitch markers and progress keepers. These are a little bit different. They are colored glass balls, which have this awesome little gradient to them. So it's like a little blue-green, blue, and pink colored ball, and they're just so sweet.
They're very pretty.
They're very pretty, and I don't think...
there's progress keepers and then stitch markers.
Yeah, I don't think that this is probably doing them justice on here, but...
they're very, very pretty.
They're gorgeous. So what we're going to do is we are going to open up a Ravelry thread. And I just want to know, what is a technique that you're wanting to learn this year? You know, it can be anything. It can be anything. Technique or style or, you know, what is something that you're wanting to learn in your knitting this year? Yeah. Because every time you learn something, the more you know.
Exactly.
Rainbow. So that will be open in the forum by the time this video goes up. And what we'll do is a random name drawing for the next podcast based upon those answers. We'll see what everybody has to say.
Yeah,
I'm really interested. Yeah. So on that note, next month, the month of March, we are doing a sock knit along. And we're going to do this, you know, the whole month of March. Do it at your own pace. If you've done socks before, you are welcome to join us. Absolutely. We have never done socks before. So for us, this is, again, new technique that we want to learn and new thing that we want to learn. So we've actually got 2 different Craftsy classes. I'm planning on using my Craftsy class. She's talking about maybe going a different route.
Right. I haven't really decided
There's no
yet
rights or wrongs to this. If you're interested in any of the Craftsy classes, I'm happy to let you know what I've got. Just message me anywhere, Ravelry, Insta, any of it, and you can kind of work along with me. I'm excited to do that with anybody. So that's an option for you. Or if you just have a pattern that you're wanting to do, I'm so excited to see what you guys are going to come up with. So
I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting to do socks for so long.
Yep, we've talked about it for a long time.
Excited.
We're going to be sock knitters.
Hopefully.
So that will be the month of March, and what we'll do is we'll have a giveaway for that as well. We've got a dye day scheduled in March that we're going to dye a skein of yarn for socks during that one, and we're going to give that away the end of March after we close the Knit Along Forum. And we are talking about also on our sewing day sewing up a new project bag to give away as well with that skein of yarn. So that will be a good giveaway. A good giveaway for you guys. So we're going to do that. We also, coming up in the beginning of April, are going to be going to the Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Fest. That's, I think, the first weekend in April. So we've got that coming up. So if you're in the area, come by, say hello to us. We would love to see you guys.
Yes, absolutely. It'd be really fun. We're really looking forward to it. This will be the first Fiber Fest that I think either one of us have ever gone to, so we're really excited about it, and we would love to see any of you that happen to be there.
Absolutely. So on that note, I think this is it for this podcast, but we are so thankful that you guys sat with us for this last hour, and you know, if you liked us, give us a like so others can find us. We hope that you subscribe and that you'll get our updates again in the future when we broadcast, because we try to do this every 2 weeks. We like to keep to that schedule if at all possible. So, and we are planning on doing a podcast from the Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Fest. That is the weekend that we intend to record anyway. Sorry, I'm umming a lot. But we are going to record that weekend from the Dallas-Fort Worth Fiber Fest. So you'll get to see a little bit from the actual Fiber Fest, as well as some from our hotel room as well. We'll do some recording from there. Do you have anything else?
That's it. I think just happy knitting, and we'll see you next time.
Happy knitting, everybody. Bye.
Bye.